Hello, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Matt here with Christy and Alonso. I didn't see The Nest, but they did.
You
They're going to tell you
should.
about it.
It's so good.
I would have if somebody had bothered to send me the screening before this morning.
I did ask. That's on
Yes.
them.
So did I.
I did
That's on
arrange
them.
them.
Yeah, they saw it IFC.
I watched it this morning, but yes, they should have sent it.
I was
earlier.
watching a different movie.
This is written and directed by Sean Durkin, who did Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, and who coincidentally is part of a tight filmmaking cooperative with Antonio Campos, who directed this week's The Devil All the Time. So they have competing movies out this week. So The Nest is set in the late 1980s. Jude Law is a sort of go-getter financial type, the kind who single-handedly causes market crashes, I think. And he is married to the great Carrie Coon. Have two kids, one a daughter from her previous marriage and one a son who was theirs. And at the beginning of the film, they are leading what appears to be an idyllic life, so you know that's not going to last. In New York, she runs a stable where she teaches people how to ride horses. And he announces to her one day that he's got this amazing business opportunity in London, which is where he's from, that it's going to be really great and it's going to pay so well and blah, 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 meow. So they have to go move there. The rest of the family arrives, and Jude Law has rented out this enormous sort of like castle out in the country. And, he's talking about getting them a pied-à-terre in Mayfair, and he buys her a horse, and he's like, all this, the kids are being put in the poshest schools. But, it's the 80s. And so he may be living way above their means. And his big dreams about, corporate mergers and liquefations may not be what they appear to be. And this is a movie about a marriage in crisis and a family in crisis at a moment where rapacity reigned supreme. And it wasn't about the sort of morality or the steadfastness of the business world. I really dug this movie. Carrie Coon, I believe she and her husband, Tracy Letts, have performed Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf together at some point. Am I right about that?
Oh, cool.
But anyway, in any event, I know that she's a great actress, and she's played some sort of, feisty wives in the past, and she's a great one here. And she and Jude Law are terrific. And this is a movie that is very squirmy at times, just in terms of the rawness of the emotion. But yeah, I couldn't look away at what was going on with this family and the decisions that were being made. And I really dig this movie.
I love this movie. This is a sad, rich, white people movie, which is one of my favorite genres. And they are incredible in it. There is such chemistry in the happy times and in the angry times and in the miserable times between Jude Law and Carrie Coon. She's got this fantastic, like a really cool combination of being chameleon-like. Like she's so different no matter what she's in, but there's always this directness to her. There's like this accessibility about her, no matter who she plays. Like you feel like she's no nonsense. She's not bullshitting you. She's giving you absolute emotional truth. And that is true here over and over again.
If you ever have the time, Christy, go back and watch her season of Fargo.
Oh, it's
She's
good.
So great on that show. Yeah.
So good. So yeah, I loved Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. It was my favorite movie of 2011. This is Sean Durkin's first film since then. I'm bummed that it's been 9 whole years. Yeah, it's a bummer. And I was thinking how at first this seems so different from that. And yet they're both about striving. They're both about trying to be somebody you are not and achieve a sense of belonging in a place that you think is where you belong. You think it's what's best for you, and you change who you are to be that. And so that is what Jude Law's character is doing. He is a total climber and striver. He is shamelessly self-aggrandizing, buying expensive lunch for his coworkers, although he can't afford it, buying a fur for his wife who doesn't want it. There's a pathetic nature to the bald faced neediness of it all, how desperately he craves the approval of the life he is trying to project to the world. And I think Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene's about that too, about trying to, in the smallest, most fundamental way, about trying to be somebody you are not.
And I think it's also about what happens when you entrust your life decisions to an untrustworthy person, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
how do you piece things back together after you've allowed other people to make decisions for you that were totally selfish and that didn't have your best interest at heart.
Kind of like the current administration.
For instance, sure. I love the period detail. Like if I were going to stumble by accident to a gay bar in London in the late 80s, I would hope it'd be the one that is playing nothing but Bronski Beat and Communards.
I mean, come on. Is Small Town Boy a little on the nose for a gay bar in London in the 80s?
It is a little bit of a...
That.
Yes, it's a kind of a signal, like, by the way, we're in a gay bar.
Yeah.
But then they follow up with the Communards cover of "Don't Leave Me This Way." I'm like, okay, it's Jimmy Somerville night. Why not? You know.
And that's a great long single take of her just dancing and going for it and feeling everything in that moment. So speaking of music, they spent a shitload of money on music here, clearly. And Alonso, while you were watching this, did it bother you? And was it weird trying to place what year this is? Because they play A Forest by The Cure, which is super early Cure. And then later on they play Holding Back the Years, and then Bizarre Love Triangle, which is like 1986. So I'm like, oh, what year is this?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like, you know, when you look at the cars in your street, they aren't all from this year. So if you go backwards, that's fine, you know, because, they played the Thompson Twins' Hold Me Now early on, and that's like 84-ish. And then later it's the Pet Shop Boys Left to My Own Devices, which is 88, 89. But I get, because time does pass in this movie. Like there's a scene where he tells her, oh, I'm going to get a check in 10 days. And then like in the very next scene where he's waking her up in the morning, she makes some comment about like, oh, well, the next 10 days has passed 2 or 3 times now. So like we've jumped ahead a month. So, you know, I went with it. It didn't bother me.
Speaking of the music, though, I want to say really fast while we're on the music, there's one really very true, authentic moment where the teenage daughter, played by Una Roach, is getting ready for school or something, and she hears Thompson Twins' Hold Me Now and reaches over to her boombox and hits record to record the song off the radio onto her cassette tape. I'm like, oh, how many times have we all done that, you know?
That's right, kids. We didn't have the internet to steal music from. We had to do it from the radio.
Yeah. Then go back and like try and cut out the part with the DJ talking.
DJ talking. Oh yeah. There's one great scene with the wonderful Anne Reid, who I recently was mad about who played the grandmother in Years and Years as Jude Law's mother, which is an amazing scene. Yeah. This is like if you took the character out of American Psycho, and rather than make him like a literal or figurative murderer, just sort of like if you made the movie about one of the other people in the office who was equally vapid and equally like success obsessed, you know, it's that period that we're looking at. But it's also very personal. It's very much about why these people behave they do and what the impact they have on each other and how kids react when they can tell that their parents are falling apart. And this has one of my favorite endings of the year.
Yes, for sure.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yes, I love that scene too. Also, the scene with his mom is really a beautiful example of how Sean Durkin gives us little pieces of who these people are. Like there are surprises about them as time goes on, and why characters say certain things about themselves early on, which are then revealed to be perhaps not true or perhaps half truths, and you come to learn who they are and why they are as the film goes on. And there's a great kind of like a breadcrumb quality to that's very tantalizing.
Absolutely, yeah. So this movie is terrific. It is out from IFC and it is streaming, right? Yes.
I guess.
So you don't have to
excellent.
Schlep into a theater.
It's excellent. Yeah,
highly recommend. Carrie Coon in anything, pretty much. But like, this movie, spot on. You should definitely check it out.
I'm saying 9. You said 8.5.
You know what? I think talking to you, I'm higher even than I thought I was. I'll say 9 as well.
Let's both say 9. Okay, so it's a 9. Go check out The Nest. This is on my running list of possible best of the year.
Oh, yeah, no question. No question. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on the socials on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at BeFastAllDay. And visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay, where our subscribers and our subscribers alone get to hear what we have to say about HBO's The Vow and Lovecraft Country and other cool stuff along the way. So give that a look, won't you? Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.